Hey everybody, and welcome to Alan's Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on 3 crepe myrtles. And crepe myrtles are a deciduous tree, so they're completely dormant. And I'm not sure, it's probably hard to pick up with the camera, but they're just beginning to start to pop with new growth. The buds are just beginning to swell, so that's why I'm doing the work on them right now. These are also exactly the same age. They were all planted from seed. And the variety that they were planted from is a large variety, because crepe myrtles come in a huge number of different varieties. So it's kind of a challenge to keep these guys this small. But so far so good. So I want to bring the apex up on this guy. Just like that. Just very simple. So I'm going to wire the apex up. I think I started too low. Start over. Okay. Let's start from here. Do a couple of turns this way and then anchor the guy down here. My philosophy when it comes to wiring is if it holds the plant in place, then it don't need to be purdy. Although it does need to be effective. Okay, so let's bring him back around. And that's about it. That's all I really want to do with this guy. As far as wiring, there's some other things I want to do. But that just entails cutbacks. Crepe myrtles grow with a lot of rangy growth, so I'm going to cut back. I'm just going to cut everything back. Which will develop better ramification. I'm going to cut this guy back. I'm going to see right there, there's a little tiny bud. And cut this guy back to there. And actually, I'm not sure I even need this one. I'm going to cut him away too. Because if you look, there's 2 parallel branches. Right here and right here. Oops! And don't think I need both. This one really needs to be the back branch. So maybe I do need to do more wiring. And that's not that difficult to do. Just get myself another piece of wire. And wire that back branch down. Like so. Anchor the bottom branch, bottom part of the wire. And then just bring him down into there. And that solves the problem of parallel branches, because now this one's going to fill into here, and that will fill the back. And there you go. Can you see the apex? Where's my finger? I don't think you can see the apex. So let me... The apex is really thin, really thin. But that's it for this one. So I'm going to stop the camera and bring the next one into view. This one has a little more twigginess, a little more growth. It also needs a little bit more maintenance. So you can see the cutback. So there's a big cutback right there. And then this cutback right here really needs to be cleaned up. Just like that. That's all it really needs. And I've chosen, this is the front. So then we have, this guy pointing right at us. And right now I'm just going to cut him like that. Probably end up being a sacrifice branch. It could even become a little piece of gin. And we have this branch coming right at us, so I'm going to shorten him tremendously. Use the correct tool. You gotta be joking me, I don't have my regular scissors. Can't believe it. It's not going to cut. So I'm going to cut away and get my regular scissors I should be using. I need a producer who can remind me, hey, get your scissors ready. I thought I had them ready. So then we have main branch here, so we're going to shorten that guy, shorten this guy, shorten this guy. Take that guy to right there to get some taper. And then this branch here needs to be shortened, and this needs to be shortened tremendously. And then this branch here shooting straight up can just come off entirely because it's just not going to be part of the plan. Now this group branch here is actually coming from here. It's coming all the way back around. So that is another branch that is just not going to work with the design. And then this branch here, both of these branches, they have some interesting movement, but I'm still going to cut that one to there, cut that one to there, cut the back branch back. This guy needs to be shortened tremendously. And the apexes may be a little bit long based on the motion that we have. Probably more like right about there would be a better look. And that guy can probably come off entirely. It's just like a little stub there. And I'm going to clean him up with some concave cutters. This tree is actually in a plastic bonsai training pot. Let me get rid of the cuttings that just fell onto the soil. But it's got some decent nabari too, if you can see that. So that's it for this guy. I want to cut this guy a little bit more back there. I think that's going to be an interesting tree also. And the next one, I may have to actually move the camera back because it is, if we pan up like this, it's considerably taller. So, where's my producer? This guy is much bigger because he's in a bigger pot. Perfect example of how a tree grows to the size of the pot. It's also got a lot more confusion. And I've never really decided on the front whether this was the front or this was the front. And that's of course based on the fact it's on an oval pot. Could be there's another front hiding in there somewhere. Could be like this, come up into here. But right now I'm just going to give it a pruning. So we've got some interesting things, like this branch right here is actually coming from way over here. So we chop him away. And then this branch right here is coming from way over here, so we chop him away. Typically in your design, you don't want any branches that are shooting back against the grain. Here's another one that's shooting against the grain. and another little tiny one that's shooting against the grain. Shorten this guy, and actually in theory he's shooting against the grain too. Shorten some of these guys up. He looks like he's almost broken. Oh, he is broken. So get rid of that. And let's cut the apex to about there. And I'm really just cutting this guy back without really saying, okay, I want a front, I want a back, I want a side branch, I want a back branch. Just going to cut it back. And eventually, actually, you know, when I sent it like that, that actually made an interesting front. So let's go with that from here. We've got so much growth on here that's shooting back against the grain. And crepe myrtles present a paradox for a bonsai artist, because in order to get really good branch ramification, you want to be constantly pinching, 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 pinching. But in order to get flowers on a crepe myrtle, you have to let the branches elongate, because the flowers only come at the tips of branches of this year's new growth. So you've got to choose, do you want flowers or do you want nice ramification, really nice dense foliage? Most people go for the foliage. Sometimes I have a few that are not in this video that you've got to time it perfectly. So you keep ramifying until about the 1st of June, then you let it elongate just a little bit, and I have had flowers on trees that still had a pretty nice look. And where the front of this guy is anybody's guess. That might make an interesting front. Up into here, up into here. Then we've got this kind of craziness. But if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm not one of those that says, okay, I must do this today, this must be. Bonsai for me is a process, it's not an event. It's not, I take a nursery tree and whack it all to pieces and it turns into an instant bonsai. That is not how I do it. So I apologize for that, for people that want to see that. But what you get to see from me is trees develop over time. And all these trees are going to develop over time to just be really nice little trees. And it takes some time. And I'm okay with that. My experience with time is it keeps going whether you like it or not. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, to watch the progress of these guys, the best way to do that is to subscribe and then hit the notification bell. And then when I give the update video on these guys, you'll be able to be notified of that. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. So that's it. 3 crepe myrtles, all the same age, all from seed. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.